Hello everyone, time for another update. It's been a while since I put up an update video. This one's going to be all over the place really, because there's a few things to show you, and it's been a little bit of painting progress. First off though, I wanted to thank Karen at Michelangelo, is the name of her YouTube channel. You probably know her from her YouTube channel. I was lucky to win the latest giveaway competition that she held recently, and won myself these plastic sprues of Vikings from, I think they're from Renedra. So there's quite a little group of figures here. In fact, there's 10 figures on each sprue, so that's 20 figures alone there, and then another two. I think these guys are leaders or command sprue, so it's really generous of her. You know, she doesn't have enough subscribers to monetize her channel or anything like that, so it's just out of the goodness of her heart, and really appreciate it. I'll put a link to her channel in case you're not familiar with it. It's well worth subscribing to. She deals mainly with plastic 1/72 figures, predominantly Napoleonic. Well, that seems to be the case at the moment, but it's got so many other interests that come across, you know, sometimes audibly. She's a big collector of antique and grandfather clocks and things like that, and they often chime in the middle of her videos, which got a really nice style to them, so check out her channel. Yeah, as I say, it's going to be all over the place, this this update. I feel in a way, it's been a while, but I feel in a way that I haven't made a great deal of progress, but in fact that's not the case. It's just I haven't produced much in the way of figures that I can actually game with, but I've painted up an awful lot of bystander type figures and bits of scatter terrain and so on. I'll show those to you in a minute. But I must admit, I am getting a little. I have been a little bit distracted of late by other interests and things, and life kind of getting back to normal in a way, I suppose. In my case, unfortunately, it's getting back to abnormal. You know, the sort of situation I was facing at the end of last year. But it has meant I've had less time at home and less chance to do some painting. But there are other things like the animation software that I acquired and I'm playing around with. It takes up an awful lot of time. It's really absorbing, but obviously that eats into my time to paint figures, and I am beginning to kind of investigate more thoroughly now as the time approaches for the new 3D printer, the Elegoo Saturn. It's going to be released soon, hopefully. So I've been pursuing that as well, and that was the other thing, the other channel I wanted to just give a very quick shout out for. Again, it's one that you're probably familiar with, Wargamers Anonymous, who I just discovered this morning, a really informative and educational video that he did a couple of months ago on 3D printing and the pitfalls of you know, printing up he was printing up a 15mm modern tank, but it went through it so well, and it covered a lot of the aspects that were beginning to kind of worry me, you know, about how to go about printing models when I finally get my printer. So again, I'll put a link to his channel, but again, you're probably already familiar with it if you're watching mine. But yeah, that particular video is one of the best and most sort of informative and instructive videos I've seen on YouTube in a long time. So if you're going to get into 3D printing, well worth having a look at that. Yeah, first up, I want to sort of show you the progress I've made on my Wild West project. So I'll take the camera downstairs to where I've got my little Wild West set up and show you that. But before I forget again, I forgot to show you this on my last update video. I'd purchased, and I showed you some Black Scorpion figures that I'd painted up, and they have their own set of Western rules called Tombstone. Now it's about £20, I think, but I spotted this on eBay, got this for £10, and it's pretty, it's pretty untouched, no crease marks on it or anything. Haven't read the rules, but I just thought I'd show you this because I forgot to last time. These are actually the 4 figures that I painted up myself. I'm in the process of painting some others at the moment. But yeah, it kind of reinforces that aspect of the figures that I think I remarked on, that they do have a kind of comic book style to them, and in fact that's reinforced by this kind of comic strip portrayal of the sort of theme of the Tombstone rules in the middle of the rulebook here. But yeah, I'll certainly give these rules a try. I'm at the point now where I've nearly got enough figures to satisfy me that I can play a game of Dead Man's Hand, so I'll probably be able to do that fairly soon. But then I've also got these rules now in the background, and I'll give these a try as well and let you know how they play out. Right, so maybe I am going to come back to this subject about eBay as well, because I've been spending an awful lot of money on eBay recently, but I think I'll deal with that when I show you some of my other eBay purchases a bit later on. So off to the Wild West now. Right, so here we are in my Wild West town that I still haven't given a name to, and I've managed small amount of progress. I've painted up another 3 figures which came with the bank. I bought this, I forget what they call it now, the bank kit or something from Great Escape Games, but they have 3 sort of civilian figures, 2 bank tellers or bank clerks, one with his hands up as though he's been involved in a robbery, and a bank customer, the lady in sort of violet coloured sort of dress there. So I've got those 3 painted up. Quite nice figures. Just try and zoom in a little bit more. Show you. Yeah, not bad figures. But as I say, this is what makes me feel as though I'm not making a great deal of progress, because they're just going to be, sort of innocent bystanders in the game. So it doesn't take me any nearer to actually playing a game. But I'm really into this kind of accessories and bystanders and things, just to give the games a little bit more atmosphere. And on the same subject, as well, I actually managed to paint a tiny amount of the frontline furniture and accessories I showed you some time ago now. Nothing special, but a safe. So I've got the foreground large safe in the sort of secure room on the ground floor, but this is just a smaller safe in a manager's office or something, and then a little sort of filing cabinet or set of drawers or something, and a chair which isn't, it's just a chair. As a chair is a chair, there's nothing terribly special about it, and a bureau. I think that's in focus. Yeah, they took me forever to do those simple little bit of furniture, and I was trying to be a bit too clever, and I was trying to use a kind of an old set of paints, proper household paints that I had under my kitchen sink, which were kind of fake wood effect sort of paints, and didn't work at all, and I had to peel it all off and start again. Yeah, and then just going to move the camera to show you the town from another angle. Okay, so another eBay purchase was this group of 6 figures. Not the horse. The horse I've shown you before. These are, again, as I say, from an eBay that I spotted, knuckle duster figures, but they're metal. So I don't know whether they're very old or not. I didn't get them from Caliber Books. I've learnt my lesson as regards them, but it was just a private trader selling them off. I thought I got them for a reasonable price. No one else bid on them. And they're kind of like a bar crowd. So at the back you've got the bartender cleaning the glass out, and then 5 customers at the bar, all with bottles or glasses of beer or whatever. They're quite a nice little group. Try and zoom in a little bit more so you can get a slightly better look at them. Yeah, as I say, I will talk a little bit more about eBay in a moment, but I am finding it a very kind of curious, sort of way of acquiring things, because there are some things that I bid on and no one else does, and I think I've got a really good bargain there, and other things that I bid on and put a maximum bid in, and they go way over a price that I think is reasonable. And I have put some bids in recently for things that I just thought, yeah, that's really good value, where I've got absolutely no intention of painting them up in a hurry. There was a group of front rank figures, quite a lot of them, and the starting price was only £50, and I thought, yeah, I might as well put in a tentative bid if I got them at that price. But they ended up going for I think it was about £201 they sold for in the end. They were American War of Independence, and they just weren't. I think I think what happens is people, they don't want to win the item, they want to win. That's the problem. So they end up sort of bidding, sort of just in order for the satisfaction of actually winning the auction. But if you can spot things that go kind of unnoticed, sort of things that people don't pick up on because they've been photographed badly or not described well enough and things like that, you can get some bargains. I've got some that I won't discuss them now because they haven't arrived yet, but I picked up some things recently, not related to the Wild West or any of my current projects, but I thought I got them quite a good price, so I'll show those to you when they actually arrive. But yeah, these figures, they're a nice little group of figures just to dot around the town and give it a bit of a bit more colour. Can always act as hostages or collateral damage or something like that. So yeah, that's about as far as I've got with my Wild West project, but I'm currently back onto painting some more of the Black Scorpion figures. So once I've done those, I'm actually going to try the Dead Man's Hand rules out and give you my impression of that. Right, next up, I think we'll go to Fort Zindenov. I think I'll try and do this bit handheld. Show you a few additions that I've made to my Foreign Legion project. Again, hasn't got me very far in playing a game because I've been painting up a lot of casualties and things like that, including a couple that you can see in the embrasures there of the redoubt figures of the corpses, sort of slung into the embrasures to make it look as though the fort is still manned. So I was quite pleased with the way they turned out, and they do indeed fit into the embrasures. So I've got an awful lot of those to paint up. If I'm ever going to be able to sort of recreate the fictional battle at Fort Zindenov. Managed to paint up a few figures that I can use, because I only had the one NCO, which was this guy here, and I'm going to need 3 NCOs or leaders for a game of the men who would be king. So I've actually managed to paint up more than that now. I've got another NCO there. These are all redoubt figures. A dismounted officer there. A mounted officer there, and a guy with another officer with binoculars who's actually part of the artillery team, but they redoubt sell or grubby tanks now do sell him separately. So on that subject, they still haven't kind of updated the website, so I don't know whether they actually ever will now. Because this slump figure is, part of. They do have the mould, but he's not actually advertised on the website. So, as I say, they may never do, because I think he had a problem casting them. As Fraser von Catteringham has said, a lot of the moulding is pretty, ropey. Lots of sort of slipped moulds and kind of things like that, but I do like redoubt. They've got a bit of character to them. So apart from those NCOs and officers that I can actually use in the game, and the other 2 corpses, I painted up a few other kind of casualty type figures, including this one. Is carrying a legionnaire carrying another wounded colleague, and a fatality there. And I think that was all I did. Maybe one other somewhere. No, I don't think so. I think that's everything painting wise, in terms of figures. So now I'll show you a few other things I've painted up that aren't figures to do with this project. Okay, so first up in that regard, I painted up all this market goods, I suppose you'd describe them as. I got these, I noticed them at Salute in, I think it was the last year's 2019, but it may have been 2018. And I was pretty sure they were on the Sarissa stand. They'd actually sold out, so I had to sort of order them, and they sent them on to me. They're resin, but as I say, I'm pretty sure it was Sarissa, but I've looked at their website recently and I can't find them on there, so whether they're not selling them anymore or I'm mistaken, I don't know. But they're described as sort of Middle Eastern market goods, and I've got them in mind for just decorating that Arab village that I showed you the other time. Some of them aren't really suitable for North Africa. I mean, this one, it's like a hooded cobra, obviously, a snake charmer type thing, and that's more suited for sort of India or somewhere like that, so I won't be using that. And this one here is a little bit more, I don't know, sort of 20th century. There's a box there of, with a cartridge belt in it and a jerry can and things like that. Make it more sort of, sort of middle of the 20th century onwards. But the others are all pretty, sort of timeless, piles of spice and fruit and various exotic edibles and things like that. So they can all they'll all come in handy. Yeah, I think that's everything I've got to say on that. I'll maybe zoom in a little bit. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Cobra was sort of too firmly kind of embedded in this sort of resin slab that those three pieces came on. So I damaged it quite badly anyway, and had to try and fix it with a bit of milliput and so on. So I didn't pay much attention to it after that, and didn't paint it up particularly well. And there were lots of sort of bubbly kind of holes, in the resin, had to sort of try and fill as well. But yeah, I mean, considering, that they've got a fairly sort of universal kind of application, they're going to come in handy for just decorating the war games table. And, Congo as well. You could have them in a sort of African kind of market. So they're going to come in handy. Anyway, enough on those. Another thing that I got finished recently was another desert type tent. So this is the second one I've done now. I've got another 2 to go. So again, it's the plastic Italeri 1/72 scale desert tent that I've kind of embellished with a lot of rugs that I made from a sort of a string placemat, a cheap table placemat. And yeah, I think it works quite well. The rugs kind of give it just that added sort of slightly larger dimensions, which make it look more suitable for 28mm than 1/72. And put it on a base and just put some of the carpets down flat to give it a little bit more colour. And as I say, I've got 2 more to go, and I think the next 2, what I'm going to do is put them on the same base, and maybe have the base the correct dimensions for the camp in a game like Fog or something like that. And then if I ever do get a Middle Eastern army in 28mm for Fog, then I can use it as a base camp as well. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. A little bit of improvised scratch building that I did. I think it's come out quite well. Right, next then on to a few purchases that I've made. I don't normally show you unpainted lead, but these are sort of sort of quite interesting in their own right, so I thought I'd show you those. Right, first up then, I bought some 28mm figures from Eureka. Again, all mainly all civilians. Originally, I mean, I know people buy things when they're drunk and buy too much, but I was actually a little bit tipsy and bought too little. It never occurred to me to look at the price, but I bought, thinking I was going to get a collection of figures, I actually only bought 1 of each. But there's a group of Middle Eastern traders who are going to go with those market goods and so on. So that's actually a group of 12, but I only managed to buy 1 of them to begin with. So here are the others. I ended up buying all 12 again because you couldn't be sure that you weren't going to get a duplicate of the one that you'd already got. So there's people shopping, guy with a shopping bag there, and other people selling. Some of them are 2-part, sort of holding up items for sale and so on. This one here, for instance, the 2 hands are sort of holding looks like a pair of underpants or something. Frilly knickers. Yeah, that's obviously is the one that goes with that. but they're going to populate my Arab town and sort of be in a sort of marketplace or a souk or something like that. So I thought they were quite fun. And then the other thing I got one of, and I had to buy the entire set, was a set of 1920s women. Now, the reason these caught my eye is one of them is dressed in a very kind of similar fashion to the character played by Catherine Deneuve in March or Die. So that was the figure that I really wanted. Just to sort of be another civilian character in a sort of Middle Eastern Foreign Legion kind of setting. So that was the one I wanted, but the others are all quite fun as well. Probably more suitable for sort of gangsters Chicago or something like that. I think that's probably what the sculptor had in mind. And the ones with the fur draped around her neck probably won't do very well in the deserts of North Africa. But yeah, I thought I'd get those. As I say, a bit of fun. Okay, and then also from Eureka, while I was on the site, inevitably couldn't resist getting some of these, which are, oh wait, that's why I've shown you those already. Where are they? Here we go. For two groups of four, so eight figures in total, some Zanzibaris, which I thought I would add to my Congo Zanzibari faction eventually. Just different sculpts, just to break it up a little bit. And I was beginning to wonder whether I might soon have enough Zanzibari figures to actually put together a faction for the men who would be kings. So they'll come in handy for that as well. So I'm getting into kind of expanding my colonial collections. So that was Eureka, and then another. Here they are. Another purchase I made on eBay, and again, this is something goes back to my point about you can find things and get them for quite a good value. Nobody else bid on this group of figures. They are some of the unfeasibly minis that I was describing on my first video on the subject of figure availability for the refighting Beau Geste. Now, as I said, I would never buy unfeasibly minis, even if I could, direct from their website any longer, because the guy is, has proved so untrustworthy, and they've been listed as out of stock for months, if not years now. But they did look really splendid figures, so I was quite anxious to get hold of some of these, see what they look like. And the eBay trader mainly seemed to be selling off groups of minifigs, which are a bit of a specialist kind of taste nowadays, and they don't tend to sell very well or very expensively. But he'd included these in, with his items for sale, and $12.99 I think I paid for them. No one else bid on them, and I don't think, to be honest, many people would have spotted them mixed in with all these other job lots that he had up, which were nearly all, pretty dull minifigs type things. Admittedly, they wouldn't have been the first choice of the types of figure that I would have picked. A lot of them are in hand-to-hand fighting, which, as I said again once before, isn't really suitable for putting them in Fort Zindenov. And not only are they hand-to-hand fighting with rifles and rifle butts and so on, but a lot of them are armed with shovels and pickaxes and crowbars and stuff like that. So they're not going to really, suit many kind of battles that I'm going to be playing. But there were, as I said, the Legion were big on road building and so on in Morocco, and you could have a scenario where a road building force has been ambushed by Tuareg or whatever, so they might they might come in handy. And I was more interested in just seeing what their figures were actually like, and they're not bad at all. There are some that are more, will come in handier than others. Some sort of, in more traditional kind of fighting poses, kneeling and firing and running and so on. $12.99 is a pretty good price, considering a pack of 4 figures would cost you £6 new. He threw in as well, there was what he described as a stray sailor, but I think that is more, looks like a kind of French Indian Wars type figure with a sort of Scots bonnet or something. He's got like I don't think it's a kilt, I think it's like a long frock, fringed frock, but he's definitely wearing a sort of Highland style bonnet. So I would put him into the backwoods of the Americas, in the French Indian War period. Rather, he's definitely not a sailor. So he's just additional to the item of interest. And scale-wise, I was interested to see how they scaled up. So once again, much smaller than Redoubt. You can see there, but I think that they'll fit in quite well with the Castaway size. Castaway one out, I'll show you. So there's a Castaway Arts, and there's this guy here is Unfeasibly Minis, a lot more slender, I would say, but kind of similar sort of height. So it's interesting to get hold of those. Now, the next thing I want to show you, I haven't got at the moment, so I'm just going to have to pause the video. It's actually my last purchase from Castaway Arts, which arrived in the country at the end of September, and I've been tracking it on the internet, and it reached my local depot in Plymouth, and then it got stuck there, and it said they'd sent out a letter to me explaining how to pay the customs duty on it, and I never got the letter, so I rang them up yesterday and paid online, having got the tracking number from them, the appropriate number from them, and it's due to arrive today, and I definitely want to show you those. So it's out for delivery at the moment, so I'm just going to halt at this temporarily at this point, and then film them when they arrive, sort of fresh from delivery. And here they are, just arrived. All I've done is open the lid, haven't actually looked inside yet, so you're seeing for them for the first time as I am. So mainly what I've done is purchased a a lot of their Tuareg to make up enough for a force of to play the men who would be kings. So there's going to be a lot of cavalry, either camelry or cavalry. And I have shown you individual examples of these on my sort of test purchase, but yeah, I was really impressed with them. I think, having now acquired some of the Unfeasibly minis, I don't regret the fact that they are no longer in production or no longer available. I think these Castaway arts are definitely superior. So my conclusion, it's a bit of a flattened horse there. Quite a few horses bent over. Must be the journey from Australia. Won't risk unbending them on camera in case they snap. I'll try and do something about them later. Yeah, they're definitely the best that I've found. So very happy with that. Now, as well as Tuareg, I also purchased a lot of their British kind of Highlanders, which, as I say, I'm going to be using for a new force. I've got the sort of Northwest Frontier in mind. I was wondering about whether to purchase some of their proper, from their new Northwest Frontier range for the sort of native troops, or whether to go with Perry's new plastic release of Afghan tribesmen. I don't know. It'd be a way off yet, because it takes me a while to paint these things, and I won't get around to starting that project for quite a while. I wouldn't have thought, but these look very nice indeed. So looking forward to doing them. More camels, a lot more horses. They've survived the journey, these ones. These are some of the Tuareg. I've definitely shown you these before. I'm actually painting some of these up at the moment. I recognise those immediately. These are the riders for the horses and camels. Again, I've shown you those before. A lot of figures in here. Nearly all of which you will have seen before. No, this isn't. Yeah, these are the what are they? Are they Bengal? I think they're Bengal Lancers or Sikh Lancers. Not too impressed by the Lancers, which are just bits of wire. So I have to do something about replacing those with something a bit more suitable. The figures themselves are nice enough. More Tuareg, I think they are. Yep. More Tuareg riders. Oh, this is so much painting, but really keen to get these done now, as I'm forced to oppose my French Royal Legion. Oh yeah, and somewhere in here there should be about 30 odd Foreign Legion troops, so that I can fight outside of Fort Zindenov and have a force of figures more suitable for outside Fort Zindenov. So here they are. Again, I did show you, I did have a sort of tentative sample group of those, so I won't get them out of their bags, as I've shown these to you before. don't think I can't remember if I got these before. Buglers, really nice bugler. Let's get him out to show you that. Yeah, lovely figure. I mean, this is the thing about, Redoubt I like, but they are a lot heavier. Let's show you the... That's the Redoubt bugler. And there's a lot more elegance to the... Apart from the, the obvious disparity in definition of what 28mm should be. There's a lot more elegance in this figure. But I'm not, not knocking Redoubt too much, because I do still have an affection for Redoubt. But I am very pleased to have found Castaway. Really nice. This is the officer. One of the officer figures. Shame they haven't got an outlet in the UK like Eureka now have, because you do get stung for customs on them. I forget what these are. Forgetting what I bought. I mean, they're obviously British, but they're not Highlanders. I don't think they are anyway. Got carried away a little bit making our purchase, but I thought there's no point in just buying a handful. Might as well go for a large purchase when you're ordering from so far away. I'll get these out of the bag for the moment. I won't rip it open. No more Foreign Legion. More British. They're gorgeous. They're really nice. Let's see if this one will open. I don't know if you can see the whether it'll focus on the face, but it's a really kind of expressive face. Lovely kind of open mouth and moustache. Brilliant figure. More Tuareg riders. Reloading figure. Now let me show you again. I think I might have compared these two figures on my last video, but there's the Redoubt Reloading Legionnaire, the Castaway Arts, and it is just such a more, as I say, elegant figure. The sort of sausage fingers on the Redoubt. As I say, I'm not knocking Redoubt because I really do like them, but these figures are going to be much more impressive when they're painted up. There's more. There's just hundreds of them. There's more of the Highlanders firing and so on. The progress I've made, I mean, you know, that I showed you earlier, I've managed to actually paint about, I don't know, 20 figures in the last sort of month, and what does that equate to in painting all this stuff? It's going to take me years at this rate, but you know, that's wargaming for you, isn't it? Get these ambitious projects, and my principle has always been to get the figures while you can. Who knows what, you know, the world's going to turn into in years' time. And bagpipe piper. And he threw in, yeah, extra weapons and shields, which is good. Always come in handy. Mainly the Tuareg weapons and shields. And that's it, that's everything. So, end of my update. Probably the next thing I'll have to show you is those other eBay purchases that aren't related to this project. I might show you when they arrive. And I'm going to be away from home for a while, so it might be a short interlude before my next video. But thanks very much for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye for now.